Grow, 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 grow. Yeah, 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 yeah. For the love of money, niggas come around. For the love of money, some stay around. For the love of money, what a nigga will do. For the love of the money, yeah. I gotta shake it, 12 at night. To 5 in the morning, they don't give a fuck, dog. If it's for that money, niggas gon' bark and they bite like a motherfucking dog. Gotta party like a motherfucking dog. For that cat, I am gon' roof. And I'm barking at that cat, and I am gon' take the roof off. And I'm riding that ride. Rip, leaning to the left, but I'm steady on the only right. I'm swerving with a purpose. A nigga been sipping on that purple. A nigga been cheaping on that purple. Cause I'm getting money. Cause I'm getting money. And I'm laughing all the way to the motherfucking bank. And I'm telling her, tell me later. And she thinking what I'm thinking. Damn me getting money. I walk about the bank and I stuck up in the wheel. Headed to my next big destination. Somewhere where I'm gonna be faded. Sipping on a motherfucking mark.
It's not going to be pleasant to hear, but it's going to be very important. I intended on waiting until we hit 100,000 subscribers to release this episode because of the amount of research I did into it. I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to receive this and to completely understand it. I'll start with the fact that everything everybody's been talking about when it comes to the Epstein files is wrong, dead wrong. And the real issue with Epstein hasn't even bubbled to the surface yet. It's a much deeper, darker story. It starts in 2002, and it involves some of the most famous tech billionaires we have in our country today. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. Larry Page. Now, I'm not one to bring you conspiracy theories. As you know, every single episode that I bring you here on Off Air is thoroughly researched and vetted and factual. That's the same with this episode. Everything I'm about to tell you is 100% absolutely true, and it's vetted, and it's unfortunate, and it is our new reality. If you spend your day on artificial intelligence, if you regularly log into ChatGPT, if you ask it questions and you receive answers and it tells you how to do your job on a daily basis, there is a very real
Bang, bang. Now, what we saying is Epstein and these other cats, they run the world. Leg up. And on this paper trail, you're going to find out. It's only a handful of people running the world, and Epstein is one of them. Bang, bang.
chance, based on what I'm about to tell you during this episode, that technology is changing your life for the worse, not the better. I'm Ron Chapman, federal criminal defense attorney, former Marine Corps lawyer and investigator, and I'm going to bring you the story of the new eugenics Jeffrey Epstein, the godfather of artificial intelligence. There was a DARPA program. For those who don't know what DARPA is, it's the CIA-backed research wing that does a lot of research into technology, and it's been the godfather of many very famous technologies, including Facebook, as I'm about to show you right now. DARPA LifeLog was a program that was launched by DARPA. You can go online and look for the request for proposal. The design of this program was supposed to capture all Americans' information, put it into a LifeLog, track it, build it over time so that you can create an electronic database of every American, and in fact, almost everybody in the world. Well, when congressional hearings started related to LifeLog, it was quickly killed by DARPA. Why? Because it came to the surface, because people learned about it, and because people became very concerned about the impact.
So we're now talking about Epstein and eugenics and DARPA. Bang, bang. Peep the play.
Impact of all of their information online. This was 2003. This was back when we were a little bit more concerned about what we put into the computer. We weren't too far away from dial-up modems and AOL, and Bill Gates was still a name that was regularly talked about. As soon as LifeLog became public, DARPA quickly killed it. And they killed it on February 4th, 2004. That date is significant because that's also the date the young hoodie-clad Mark Zuckerberg, sitting in a Harvard dorm room, launched what he called then the Facebook. The Facebook was designed as just a Harvard campus project. That's all Mark Zuckerberg intended it to be. But then, of course, he met the Winklevoss brothers, two relatively wealthy and backed individuals who worked with him on the project. And if you believe the movies, Mark Zuckerberg went in a different direction than the Winklevoss twins. But that's not the real story. The real story is right after Facebook launched, it got tens of thousands of users. 50% of them were on Harvard campus, and it struggled to get off the ground in other campuses. It wasn't until a tech CEO, Peter Thiel, then of PayPal, and a relatively famous figure in the Conservative Party now today, came to Mark Zuckerberg, a relatively unknown individual on Harvard campus, and offered him $500,000.
Epstein. Bang, bang. Zuckerberg. Bang, bang. Until. Bang, bang.
Now, the one thing that you should all understand about Peter Thiel is at that point, he was what's called an angel investor, but he was a different kind of angel investor. He actually paid individuals to drop out of college and commit themselves to his causes. Thiel's club has launched some of the most famous tech startups. He's been behind nearly every single one of them. Reid Hoffman with LinkedIn was started right around this time period. Now, if we go back and look at Peter Thiel and say, why did he spend $500,000 on this project? Why was he one of the first venture capitalists? Why was he offering this kind of money to people like Mark Zuckerberg? You have to understand about what he'd built at that point in time. You see, Peter Thiel was the founder of a program called Palantir. Palantir is the connector. Palantir is the brain, but the brain doesn't have the data that it needs in order to figure out artificial intelligence. Palantir is a company that takes existing information and it connects that information together to draw.
Epstein. Zuckerberg. Thiel. AI. Huh. 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 Evildoers. That sounded really cool when I said it. Let me say it again. Evildoers. And I got my pinky in my mouth. These are your playmakers. These are your heavy hitters. Nobody else. We're calling them out.
Conclusions. It's been going for a very long time. I use Palantir because of how much I know about it. But Palantir is nothing unless it has users to put in data. That's where LifeLog came into play. The intent was people like John Poindexter of DARPA, the CIA, and the US military, Department of Defense, felt that they would be able to just get a project to collect this information that was government funded. But when there was pushback by the American public, they had to go a different way. And DARPA playboy Peter Thiel decided to go the way of a young hoodie-clad college kid to get the information that he deeply sought to make the connections he needed in order to control so much about our environment. For those of you who think the rags to riches story of Mark Zuckerberg is some amazing tale that we should tell our grandchildren, think again. Just about every social media entrepreneur back in the day of Peter Thiel's tech startups was blessed by DARPA. Why didn't MySpace win over Facebook? It didn't have DARPA backing. Why did LinkedIn win over the dozens and dozens of programs that were available that did similar things around that time? It was because of Peter Thiel and DARPA. Why did Instagram become so big? Peter Thiel and DARPA. Spotify, Peter Thiel and DARPA. Just about every single aspect of your digital life, Peter Thiel and DARPA backed, blessing people in exchange for one thing: a backdoor of information to be collected from users, cell phone location, and a tremendous amount of user data. Now, what does this have to do with Jeffrey Epstein? That's the curious part. A lot of people aren't aware that Jeffrey Epstein is one of the
Yeah, what this guy just said. What in the fuck does this have to do with Jeffrey Epstein? I mean, what does Jeffrey Epstein have to do with the creation of the entire AI spectrum? I mean, and how does Peter Thiel know to go after AI baby geniuses? And we're going to take these, so to speak, guys and put them under my and your umbrella, Epstein. Is there a connection with Peter Thiel and Rama Digga? Do you understand me? Huh? Bang, bang. Is Epstein the forerunner right now? Is he like baby Jesus that have come back? I mean, because he resurrected out of the goddamn cell and shit and walked out of that motherfucker like Jesus. Jesus. Double and triple entendre type shit. Bang, bang. Well, let go there. Crazy shit.
Back in 2002, he had a conference where he supported some of the most famous names in artificial intelligence who were intending to solve a problem at that time. If you wanted a clean, reassuring origin story for modern artificial intelligence, you'd probably start think again, just about the day of Peter Thiel's tech startups was blessed by DARPA. Why didn't MySpace win over Facebook? It didn't have DARPA backing. Why did LinkedIn win over the dozens and dozens of programs that were available that did similar things around that time? It was because of Peter Thiel and DARPA. Why did Instagram become so big? Peter Thiel and DARPA. Spotify, Peter Thiel and DARPA. Just about every single aspect of your digital life, Peter Thiel and DARPA backed, blessing people in exchange for one thing: a backdoor of information to be collected from users, cell phone location, and a tremendous amount of user data. Now, what does this have to do with Jeffrey Epstein? That's the curious part. A lot of people aren't aware that Jeffrey Epstein is one of the first godfathers.
This nigga Jeffrey would use the back door, wouldn't he? Uh, uh, uh. Fuck the front door. Take me around back. Uh, that nigga on his ninja shit. Ninja suited out. I don't want to be seen. Walk me around back or meet me around back. Nigga, we ain't even got no back door. That nigga said create one. Is this nigga Jesus? Jesus. Double and triple entendre type shit. Jesus. Bang, bang. Leg up.
For those of you who think the rags to riches story of Mark Zuckerberg is some amazing tale that we should tell our grandchildren, think again. Just about every social media entrepreneur back in the day of Peter Thiel's tech startups was blessed by DARPA. Why didn't MySpace win over Facebook? It didn't have DARPA backing. Why did LinkedIn win over the dozens and dozens of programs that were available that did similar things around that time? It was because of Peter Thiel and DARPA. Why did Instagram become so big? Peter Thiel and DARPA. Spotify, Peter Thiel and DARPA. Just about every single aspect of your digital life, Peter Thiel and DARPA backed, blessing people in exchange for one thing: a backdoor of information to be collected from users, cell phone location, and a tremendous amount of user data. Now, what does this have to do with Jeffrey Epstein? That's the curious part. A lot of people aren't aware that Jeffrey Epstein is one of the first godfathers of artificial intelligence. Back in 2002, he had a conference where he supported some of the most famous names in artificial intelligence who were intending to solve a problem at that time. If you wanted a clean, reassuring origin story for modern artificial intelligence, you'd probably start with a university lab, a whiteboard, and a grad student surviving on ramen noodles. You'd not start with a private Caribbean island owned by Jeffrey Epstein. And yet, in the spring of 2002, a group of prominent computer scientists met with Epstein on his property for what was dubbed a common sense symposium. This was later documented in a 2003 AI magazine paper that thanked Epstein for his generous support. What were all these AI researchers gathering for? It was to solve a problem in AI.
Yeah. Whatever he say, I'm gonna say something a little different. What are these bankers, modern day bankers on Jekyll Island gathering for? Talk to me. Talk to me. Is this a new Federal Reserve format forming modern day times? Are we in a repeat session of the 1900s with the roaring 20s? Crazy. The roaring 20s, if you're hip or flipped. Ha, ha. Game time. Well, let's go then. So we got some players out on an island. Somebody owns the island out of the group. AI ain't even in right now, really, but it's coming to fruition. As we can see, again, this is 2002. Hip hop is way big right now, 2002 for sure. For sure. Hip hop is doing dumb numbers at this moment. I'm just saying. So 2002, you got Sir Isaac Epstein. Jesus, Jesus. Double on, triple on, tundra ass nigga. Walk out of jail scot free. And we ain't talking back in those times to use those two words together right now. Hey, this dude jamming on the ones right now. Mike Jack, Billie Jean, moonwalking on you niggas. On the moon right now. Somewhere off in the island somewhere, chilling. Figure me? Let's ride into the sunset and see where this nigga take us. Right now we on the island. We'll spy on the wall, seeing why he meet with these, so to speak, American indigenous mindset since you in America, right? AI or artificial intelligence. Or you talking about the American indigenous people knowledge that we had here first? Y'all finding out what we were doing maybe back in time and you're bringing it out? Or you finding cats that know how to bring it out? Right now, we got Peter Thiel, we got Epstein, we got Zuckerberg, we got. Well, let go. Let this nigga tell some names too. Let me not just be snitching. But we got the rulers who running the world right now. Ain't no president running the world. Ain't no motherfucking sultan running the world. No, these niggas bow down to these niggas right here we talking about. Think these some peons if you want to. Watch the door. Watch the door. Think these some peons. Lego. Bang.
Give machines the everyday common sense humans use consistently without even noticing. The venue for solving this problem was uniquely Epstein, and it's the kind of venue that institutional ethics would be very concerned about. The 2002 SID by Jeffrey Epstein was a gathering that was later described in print, one that brought together the most influential artificial intelligence figures, including Marvin Minsky, MIT's AI lab founder, Ken Ford, aren't aware that Jeffrey Epstein is one of the first godfathers of artificial intelligence. Back in 2002, he had a conference where he supported some of the most famous names in artificial intelligence who were intending to solve a problem at that time. If you wanted a clean, reassuring origin story for modern artificial intelligence, you'd probably start with a university lab, a whiteboard, and a grad student surviving on ramen noodles. You'd not start with a private Caribbean island owned by Jeffrey Epstein. And yet, in the spring of 2002, a group of prominent computer scientists met with Epstein on his property for what was dubbed a common sense symposium. This was later documented in a 2003 AI magazine paper that thanked Epstein for his generous support. What were all these AI researchers gathering for? It was to solve a problem in AI. The topic itself was academically respectable: how to give machines the everyday common sense humans use consistently without even noticing. The venue for solving this problem was uniquely Epstein, and it's the kind of venue that institutional ethics would be very concerned about. The 2002 symposium, located in the Virgin Islands, founded by Jeffrey Epstein,
Bang, bang. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna tell them little ones to go to bed right now. Cause this ain't even really about them. The whole story they've been talking about ain't even about those guys. Ain't even. What's at the top of this ring right here? We got some guys right now being led by Epstein to function and take control of the entire world. Now, it looks like Epstein being baby Jesus, he got bestowed some power upon him. So they got him parading around like a normal person, is what I'm trying to tell you here. The paper trail ends right here with this nigga right here. J.E. We ain't talking jagged is. That nigga's not from Atlanta. And you're not in Atlanta. Come on, let's go. Let's go. The paper trail ends here. At this nigga's doorstep. Yeah, nigga. We at the front. We ain't going through the back. Ain't no sneak attack. We right here. The paper trail. Hashtag 19. Let go. Bang, bang.
at that time. If you wanted a clean, reassuring origin story for modern artificial intelligence, ramen noodles, you'd not start with a private Caribbean island owned by Jeffrey Epstein. And yet, in the spring of 2002, a group of prominent computer scientists met with Epstein on his property for what was dubbed a common sense symposium. This was later documented in a 2003 AI magazine paper that thanked Epstein for his generous support. What were all these AI researchers gathering for? It was to solve a problem in AI. The topic itself was academically respectable: how to give machines the everyday common sense humans use consistently without even noticing. The venue for solving this problem was uniquely Epstein, and it's the kind of venue that institutional ethics would be very concerned about. The 2002 symposium, located in the Virgin Islands, founded by Jeffrey Epstein, It was a gathering that was later described in print, one that brought together the most influential artificial intelligence figures, including Marvin Minsky, MIT's AI lab founder, Ken Ford, NASA, and DARPA ties. Their shared goal was technical, to solve the common sense problem, the gap between machines that can recognize patterns and machines that can reason like a normal human being about normal human things. Like why you shouldn't store ice cream in the oven. This is very important because the common sense problem has always been a yeah, but of AI. It was never really addressed, but it failed many projects. Personal AI tends to trip up. And in order to solve the common sense problem, it's common sense.
So, talk to me. You want this motherfucking computer to do what your ass ain't gonna do and have a little feelings about it, huh? So, is this why your boy Elon Musk created that motherfucking soccer bot? The motherfucker kicking soccer balls with your ball bummer and shit? And don't think for one second I believe this monkey bullshit Trump or these motherfuckers up. Money is one color. And then we're talking about AI. We're talking about digital money. Huh? That ain't even a color. It's on the fucking computer. What the fuck are y'all talking about? This is not a racial thing right now. Money is money is money is money. Right now, your money is their money. And they might give you some of their money that you think is yours. But right now, we're talking AI. We're talking who's in charge of the Federal Reserve, really. We're talking about Epstein, baby Jesus. Walk out the motherfucking cell. Hop in the motherfucking cell and set sail. That nigga C-Lot, he might be the new Caesar. Jesus. 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 Double on, triple one. Turn fast, nigga. Leg up.
Like a normal human being about normal human things. Like why you shouldn't store ice cream in the oven. This is very important because the common sense problem has always been a yeah, but of AI. It was never really addressed, but it failed many projects. Pattern recognition can be astonishing. Reasoning about the world like a person, that's where AI tends to trip up. And in order to solve the common sense problem, it's common sense that you need a lot of money. And that's where Jeffrey Epstein was very skilled. Some people, in fact, said that he collected scientists like some people might collect art. Why was he doing all of this? Well, it's because he had his own nefarious motives. So in 2002, the AI researchers gather, they talk, a paper is published that thanks Jeffrey Epstein for all of the support. And then the researchers scatter the globe and start working in their individual tech companies. And out springs Facebook, LinkedIn. The technology from PayPal spiraled across the globe and started collecting data for Peter Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein himself. But Jeffrey Epstein didn't stop there. According to MIT's commissioned investigation, Epstein donated roughly $850,000 to
Think it's a game. Think it's a motherfucking game out here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Think it's a game. No matter what you do or what you use right now, this whole AI shit to tell you everything that you need to know about everything, these motherfuckers created. What we talking about here? If we ain't talking about it, we ain't talking about it. And evidently, we talking about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The AI is really here. The American indigenous is really here. And we talking about it. They talking about eugenics. They ain't just talking about it. They running a eugenics play from the early 1900s. Eugenics are the backbone to the Federal Reserve starting in the 1900s. Catch up, mustard. We ain't got long.
MIT between 2002 and 2017. After the Virgin, this research gets done, and Jeffrey Epstein paid for it, but he paid a lot more to others. He even paid $750,000 to MIT after his 2008 conviction that everybody's well aware of. Now, the donations to MIT paled in comparison to what he purportedly gave to Harvard. Harvard had an investigation after it was found that they received such a large donation from Jeffrey Epstein, $6.5 million donated by Jeffrey Epstein, most of it in the hands of a researcher named Martin Novak. I'm going to talk a bit about Martin Novak because he's very important here. Martin Novak was the founder of the PED laboratory at Harvard. This was the laboratory that Jeffrey Epstein had a private office in. He had a swipe card and access to the entire building. And even after his conviction,
Open up your mouth and motherfucking talk. Closed mouth don't get fed. Huh? Every name's important. Not one name is not important that this guy's talking about right now. I'm no longer on they motherfucking heels. I done caught the bitch in the dress. Yeah, the bitch wearing a dress. These motherfuckers done motherfucking came out in a woman goddamn clothing. Yeah. Sideswiped us all. Put a pretty woman in front of us, huh? I call her money. I call her money. Made that shit look good, right? Right? Who funded hip hop, right? I bet you I can point him out via Epstein. I mean Jesus. I mean Jesus. 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 Double and triple and tundra ass nigga. Catch up, mustard. Yo. We're running out of condiments.
he was able to visit many times, over 40 times. Epstein didn't stop there. According to MIT's commissioned investigation to MIT, between 2002 and 2017, after the Virgin Islands meeting, it was very important that this research gets done, and Jeffrey Epstein paid for it. But he paid a lot more to others. He even paid $750,000 to MIT after his 2008 conviction that everybody's well aware of. Now, the donations to MIT paled in comparison to what he purportedly gave to Harvard. Harvard had an investigation after it was found that they received such a large donation from Jeffrey Epstein, $6.5 million donated by Jeffrey Epstein, most of it in the hands of a researcher named Martin Novak. I'm going to talk a bit about Martin Novak because he's very important here. Martin Novak was the founder of the PED laboratory at Harvard. This was the laboratory that Jeffrey Epstein had a private office in. He had a swipe card and access to the entire building. And even after his conviction, he was able to visit many times, over 40 times. The PED laboratory was part of the program for evolutionary dynamics. Now, you could hear the words evolutionary dynamics and think that this is a groundbreaking concept. But what it really is a dressed up version of eugenics. Martin Novak is originally a mathematician, and most of his research was based on the idea of cooperation. Why some parts of the species might cooperate with others, even if it ultimately leads to their own demise. You see, people like Epstein and Novak were absolutely obsessed with the future of the human race and the problems of the human race that are caused by reverse Darwinism.
Everybody can't be on this team. Everybody ain't on the team. We talking money here. We talking the rulers of the world right now. That's all we talking right now. Now, if the president's name is involved, then he's part of the rulers of the world right now. But there's one emperor that sits upon the throne of this empire they have created. That motherfucker right now is J.E. And we ain't talking Jagged Edge. We talking Jeffrey Epstein right now. Fucking Jesus. 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 Double on, triple on, tundra, nothing. Godfather. Out here on where the fuck he at out there in the middle of the ocean? Setting up Jekyll Island meetings and shit. Where the fuck is he at? Yeah. The island that he bought like back in the early, I think it was late 90s, maybe somewhere up in there. So we talking this guy that had enough money to buy his own island. And again, they did fund the music. They did fund the music. They did fund the music. So, was this guy handed down something ritually? Who is he really? Who is he really? We done found Ghost. Who this motherfucker is really? Hmm. Hmm. He ain't normal. He ain't your ordinary crook either. This is the motherfucking leader of the game. The party's being held on his island. He's funding everybody, not everybody else sitting at the table. Nobody is bigger than God. Or Jesus. Jesus. Hey, Zeus, maybe. Jesus. Double line, triple line, tundra line. Nothing.
The idea that as we become more technologically advanced, we as a people will begin to fail. And I think to some extent, we do see some of that evidence present, but they took it to an extreme extent. Investigations later described Epstein as being physically present, treated as a known quantity, and given institutional accommodations that go well beyond a pat on the back and thanks for your support, and look a lot more like integration into Harvard itself. With Jeffrey Epstein entrenched at PED and also at MIT, he had commanded respect in two of the most important institutions that were developing research in the area of AI and ultimately eugenics. MIT's Media Laboratory famously referred to Jeffrey Epstein as Voldemort, or the one who should not be named. They avoided saying his name because they knew who he was, they knew what he was about, but they just couldn't stop taking his money for research. The logic's almost poetic in its candor. If a donor's name must not be spoken, everyone already knows where the money is. If the plan is anonymous and not public,
The paper trail. Let go. Let's go. Go, go, go. That's what we've been talking about the whole time. Shit. The paper trail. Where the fuck we at? We at this nigga's door knocking right now. Right now. I'm pretty sure he out here walking around somewhere. Hey, man, throw me a few $100 million. Hey, stop tripping. You stay on vacation. Fuck it, you own a whole island. Yo, 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 yo. Fuck it. You own the whole world, money wise. If you're using the dollar, Epstein is behind it. If you're using AI, Epstein is behind it. I mean Jesus. I mean Jesus. I mean God damn it, Jesus. 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 Double learn, triple learn, tundra ass. Knuckle. You can't even say the nigga name for real. All jokes aside, this is not a laughing matter. But these niggas is definitely laughing all the way to the motherfucking bank. Because they're in charge of the bank too.
Publicized the institution's admitting it's not proud of where it's getting its donations. Epstein had positioned himself globally as a connector and certainly inside of the United States as a connector in many different institutions. But he was ultimately the funder of artificial intelligence and this sort of research. Starting in 2002 in the Virgin Islands, moving forward to large donations, he kept very firm relationships at MIT and Harvard, even after his convictions. But what's more troubling are some of the statements that Jeffrey Epstein would later make that reveal what he was really trying to develop with all of these donations. Now, before we get into that, I want to take a second. I would certainly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing and potentially becoming a member. I, along with Legacy Podcasting, put together this program for you, and it takes a lot of resources, and that subscribe means so much to me, and your membership does as well. Now you might say, okay, Ron, what's the connection between Jeffrey Epstein, Facebook, and DARPA? And that's where a gentleman named John Poindexter comes into play. He's a former NASA director who led DARPA. He led the Information Awareness Office. He was actually the founder.
How many of us out there use Poindexter as a joke? Man, stop acting like a Poindexter. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's still a modern day term we use as a joke. Yeah, 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 yeah. Poindexter. No, no, no. Poindexter is part of this whole play. That nigga's up at the top of this motherfucker with his feet up, like a paraplegic. In the words of the great Wayne, words of the great Little Wayne. So, Poindexter. We just keep bringing these niggas into the room, huh? The Papah Trail. We at your motherfucking door. Bang, bang.
Into that, I want to take a second. I would certainly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing and potentially becoming a member. I, along with Legacy Podcasting, put together this program for you, and it takes a lot of resources, and that subscribe means so much to me, and your membership does as well. Now, you might say, okay, Ron, what's the connection between Jeffrey Epstein, Facebook, and DARPA? And that's where a gentleman named John Poindexter comes into play. He's a former NASA director who led DARPA. He led the Information Awareness Office. He was actually the founder of the Information Awareness Program that I mentioned to you earlier. He founded the Total Information Awareness Initiative that was the program designed to get information on nearly every single American citizen. And of course, when that went out of favor, he had to find a way to get Americans to willingly give up the information themselves. And according to Wired's reporting, Poindexter met with Peter Thiel and Palantir co-founder Alex Karp in 2004 and told them that he had an interesting idea to apply data mining techniques from fraud detection to counter counter-terrorism operations. Experts like Poindexter were really trying to solve post 9/11 problems, and that's where total information awareness came about. Of course, they had the benefit of a law passed by Congress at the time that George Bush was president and signed by President Bush, allowing almost complete access to the public's information and instilling FISA courts. At that point,
Everybody's involved in the play. Everybody's involved in the play. Everybody's involved in the play. They ain't the top tier, but you can get paid to play your part, partner. Yeah. So it seems like Epstein is in charge of the money during this time, 90s, 2000s. Epstein is actually in charge here. He's friends with a lot of people during this time, 90s, 2000s. A lot of shit is going on, 90s, 2000s. This nigga made enough money in the 90s and 2000s to buy a fucking island. Yo. Talk to me. Talk to me. This nigga's on Jekyll Island. This nigga's on Jekyll Island. Around the same time Jekyll Island was on Jekyll Island. And these niggas was out there wilding, coming up with a banker's plan. Are you talking about a little bit of that sprinkle of that Bitcoin? No, nigga. No, nigga, we ain't talking about Bitcoin yet. We ain't talking about Bitcoin yet. Yeah, we're talking Facebook. We're talking getting your motherfucking personal information willingly because you volunteering it. The cell phone just piqued your interest, huh? Yeah, got your ass. It's up to us how we use it. But at the top of this food chain, there's a big badass gang. Niggas in charge of food, clothing, shelter. Hey, have you mentioned Bill Gates yet? You know, there's niggas in charge of a lot of your goddamn farmland, right? Right. Bang.
he had to find a way to get Americans to willingly give up the information themselves. And according to Wired's reporting, Poindexter met with Palantir co-founder Alex Karp in 2004 and told them that he had an interesting idea to apply data mining techniques from fraud detection to counter terrorism operations. Experts like Poindexter were really trying to solve post 9/11 problems, and that's where total information awareness came about. Of course, they had the benefit of a law passed by Congress at the time that George Bush was president and signed by President Bush, allowing almost complete access to the public's information and instilling FISA courts. At that point in time, the government was at the most powerful. The CIA, DARPA would be able to get as much information as they possibly could. And with the aid of Facebook, and fast forward over 20 years, CIA officials would tell you that the number one source of information on the American public are apps like Facebook, Spotify, and LinkedIn. Shortly after, we would learn that Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, would sponsor a dinner in Palo Alto, placing Epstein at the table with Musk, Zuckerberg, and Thiel, all of which who would move forward and champion cryptocurrency as a tool for the future. They realized that the information is great, but the financial system is still tied to governments, and deleveraging the financial system from the government would allow this sort
Now, who the fuck is in charge of your motherfucking currency that's decentralized again? Talk to me. Talk to me. All the crypto. All the crypto. Who's in charge of it? When did they come up with it? How did they come up with it? Did they come up with it in the motherfucking huddle? Yeah. I think they did. I think they invited everybody to somebody's house. You know what I mean? This time not held in Bikini Bottom. No. There's somebody else's house this time. Throwing this motherfucking, we're gonna take over the world party. You know what I mean? The one world order is these motherfuckers. And I'm gonna tell you who's ever in this circle is that one world order. Yeah. So look, like I said, if your name ain't being tossed out in that circle at this house and that house, Bikini Bottom, motherfucking house, Jekyll Island house, nigga, you're not part of the motherfucking plan. You could be a character in our motherfucking stage play, nigga. Yeah. Yeah. Nigga. Yeah. We know the people want a government, so we're gonna keep a government running. Yeah. We're gonna keep that theater running, theater running. Real casualties. Because this is a real plan. And in order for this plan to keep going, whoever must go, whoever must go, nigga, they got the door open. These niggas came in through the back for a reason, nigga. We up front. We up front with it. We up front with it. We banging on your motherfucking door, nigga. Hey man, give me about 100 mil, nigga, and I'll be quiet while you around, nigga.
Sort of technocrat explosion to occur and ultimately give them the power that they need. Now, great, you've got Bitcoin spiraling forward. You've got all of the information that you want on Americans. You have them willingly giving over their information, and you no longer need the total information awareness program. You're moving forward full steam ahead. But then a gentleman named Edward Snowden, who I once would have villainized, but now I might consider championing, came forward with information about a program called Prism. I've done episodes before on the startup of Prism and how that came from software that was stolen by the government around the time that Bill Clinton was in office, had the ability to connect information on all Americans and also collect information overseas. Edward Snowden was a whistleblower and told us how the CIA and the NSA would have the ability to collect information on every single American through all the digital devices that they had. That's where your information from Facebook was going. Now, there's a law that prevents America from spying on its own citizens. But when they give that information up willingly, all you need is a back door. That's one of the reasons why it was so important for Peter Thiel and John Poindexter to start these sorts of operations. That's another reason why Donald Trump pushed so hard, along with Joe Biden, in a unanimous effort to try to reduce TikTok in the United States.
Well. Nigga don't knock on the front door, go through the back and take everything you motherfucking own. God damn. This motherfucker robbed me while I was home. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do about it? What I'm gonna do about it? What I'm gonna do about it? I'm knocking at this nigga door right now, nigga. Literally. Yeah. The money trail has led to this nigga. 18 episodes. Hashtag 19. I done found the motherfuckers that been running the show on our ass. They're in control of your government. They're in control of your food. They're in control of the entertainment, the theater. Hmm. It's not a president. It's not a king. It's not a sultan. No, 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 no. It's this regular, ordinary nigga walking around normal. The motherfucker was a student in Harvard, right? He was a student in Harvard, right? Nigga didn't even go to school there. It ain't even slippery over there. Get your ass, Jesus. Walk out of a motherfucking locked goddamn door. We call it jail. Walked out that bitch. Jesus. Walked on water. Well, his ship did. God damn it. When he jumped on that bitch and headed back to his goddamn island. Hell, nigga, right now, watching us watch him with a new face. Face off. This nigga's Jesus, nigga. Jesus. Jesus. Double on, triple on, tundra ass, nigga. Bang, bang.
From Facebook was going. Now, there's a law that prevents America from spying on its own citizens. But when they give that information up willingly, all you need is a back door. That's one of the reasons why it was so important for Peter Thiel and John Poindexter to start these sorts of operations. That's another reason why Donald Trump pushed so hard, along with Joe Biden, in a unanimous effort to try to reduce TikTok in the United States. You see, if your government has control of Facebook, if your government has control of Google, and the Chinese don't have control of those, you're safe. But when a Chinese application starts to come into the United States and collect just as much information, that spells problems. In fact, I think what we did with TikTok is almost the greatest admission that your government is behind the information collection of Facebook and Google. And so, of course, Edward Snowden blows the whistle. We finally learn what PRISM is, and some of the information that we can gain from that is absolutely alarming. But that still wasn't a signal that it was used domestically. And we wouldn't find that out until the Cambridge Analytica scandal. I'm going to talk a bit about Cambridge Analytica, but I think it's important that we get to it in another episode as well. So make sure you hit like and subscribe on this one so that you can get notification of that. Also, in my last book, Truth and Persuasion, I wrote an entire chapter on the Cambridge Analytica scandal. And while I'm going to give you some new information and new research, it would be important to get some background in that book, Truth and Persuasion. It's essentially how the digital environment has changed us drastically. If you got a copy of the book, or if you read it, let me know in the comments. Make sure you tag me in it, and I'd be happy to hear your thoughts about the book. The Cambridge Analytica scandal, for those who don't know, started well before it hit the United States. You see, Facebook and Peter Thiel connected a back door inside of Facebook software. That back door allowed certain other institutions and entities to get a hold of information. Cambridge Analytica paid Facebook a lot of money for a contract that allowed it to get not just the information on the individual user, but also get information.
These niggas in these back doors. Never trust a nigga who say, hey man, let me in through the back door. Yeah. We work together. You know what else? You know what else? This is that Rothschild story, right? Hmm? When he tells his five sons, hey, you do it here in this city, this state. Hey. Take your ass over there. Look out for your brother while he's over there. Hey, you, number three. All right, now I'm going to need you to go overseas. You know what I mean? I'm going to stay right here, y'all. Yeah. Hey, number four. I'm going to need you to go on this side of town. Go to the far east. I don't even believe the Rothschild story. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive. Addition, like a plus sign. I'm almost positive that them niggas made up that Rothschild story too. I'm definitely positive. Fuck it. I don't believe none of that theater shit. I don't believe none of that theater shit. I don't believe none of that theater shit. Right now, I'm walking you down, J.E. And we ain't talking jagged edge. This nigga's not from Atlanta. Yo, Jesus. Lend your boy $100,000 per day. That way it don't look fishy. Per day. I found you, nigga. You in control of everything, nigga. I found your ass, nigga. Found you on the paper trail, nigga. Hey, this nigga is the top shotter. Yeah, yeah. No, he a shot caller. Nigga's not part of the game. The nigga is running the game. The nigga walked out. The nigga walked out. The nigga just walked out. He walked out. The nigga's invincible. The nigga's ghost. Yo, 50, you coming back? You gonna bring Ghost back after this? You gonna bring Ghost back after this? Yeah. Bring Ghost back, nigga. Power. Bang, bang.
Make sure you tag me in it, and I'd be happy to hear your thoughts about the book. The Cambridge Analytica scandal, for those who don't know, started well before it hit the United States. You see, Facebook and Peter Thiel connected a back door inside of Facebook software. That back door allowed certain other institutions and entities to get a hold of information. Cambridge Analytica paid Facebook a lot on the individual user, but also get information on their friends and data that might have been already located inside of their phone. That meant that when you logged into Facebook, Facebook was storing not just your data, not just your user data, but also data from the friends that you'd connected with, whether or not they'd opted in on those privacy settings. Facebook settled a very large lawsuit with its users and immediately tightened up after the scandal. But the problem is not just that Facebook leaked the information, it's why. You see, as you know, Peter Thiel was early in on the founding of Facebook, and those back doors are very important, especially when they go to his friends. Now, most of you know that I'm a relatively conservative person, but I fight power wherever power is, especially if it gets corrupt, and I take issue with what happened here. So I hope you're a bit patient with me. Peter Thiel, a well-known conservative, but also somebody who believed that Brexit was a good thing, and also somebody who believed that Donald Trump should get into office in 2016. And while I will not say the Cambridge Analytica scandal was the result of Trump's presidency, what I will say is that it is the result of a database of information that very well can be used for bad. And it's very possible we may not have another free and fair election in our country's future. The founder of Cambridge Analytica was
So, well. These backdoor ass gang members ass niggas. These backdoor gang member ass niggas. Look, did they just call it? Who's our next president? Who we want in office? We run the money. We run the government. Who we want in office? No, this ain't play. This ain't no game. None of this shit right here is a game. Fuck all that other shit. None of this shit is a game. Fuck all that bike pedaling shit. No, this nigga controls the world. You think that this nigga is locked up? Where Diddy was locked up at? Or where Sam Bankman, fried motherfucking face ass nigga looking face ass nigga? You think that this nigga was in a regular cell? No, nigga. No, nigga. Yo, this nigga, yo, talk to me. Has anybody ever seen this Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with Sylvester Stallone where he's going to jail just to break out? It's part of his job, part of his lifestyle, where he gets paid to go in and break out. No, this nigga's Jesus. This nigga's Jesus. Jesus. Double and triple entendre ass nigga. So they can collect your data to know what to do next. Yeah. So Trump knew that by way of those guys setting up the AI infrastructure to not only create Bitcoin, but also to trace everybody and know what they're thinking. How many people like Trump during that time, even before when Trump was just an actor? Yo, Trump was in a lot of people's raps. He knew this. Why? Because they were pulling the analytics. They already knew. In the 90s, Trump was pretty popular. He was pulling the analytics. They were making him popular just to put him in this sector. Yo. They're building babies from the ground up. They vertical integrate everything. Yo, this is not a game. This is not for play. Understand who's the overall gang members of all gang members. This nigga controls the Sinaloa cartel. This nigga controls the motherfucking people that want to tap their whole face with their gang. No, nigga. We ain't talking peons here. We talking niggas that walk on water. They ain't got to figure it out. They done calculated it. Yeah. Nothing new under the sun to the ones who create your time frame. God damn it. Write your history for you. Create the money for you. You're a user. You a user. I'm a user. We users. If you're not in that motherfucking circle right there, you a user. You ain't the creator. This nigga's Jesus on earth right now. I'm not even jiving with you cats. No, this nigga's still alive, of course. He's the ultimate ghost. You really think Tariq shot him, man? You really think Tariq shot him, man? Come on, y'all. He put it back in there. He put the gun back for him to do it. So you think he shot him with a real gun? No. You think that was a real bullet? No. You can't write ghost out. That's what it's all about. 50, what do you know, 50? Do you know 100? You even know your name 50? I'm on the paper trail, baby. Yeah, we ain't exiting out no name until we find out that nigga's not part of the names. Talk to me. Why is Jay-Z meeting with Epstein? Huh? No, this nigga's really sitting at the table, nigga. What y'all talking about? Yo, what y'all talking about, huh? What we talking about, huh? Yo. No, these niggas run the world, nigga. They run the world. What you say? They run the world, Craig. They run the world, Craig.
Was from a marketing firm, and he teamed up with a very smart programmer. They decided that they would try to influence some elections overseas, which was a great way to make a lot of investors a ton of money. They tried it in a few countries, Singapore and others, with some mixed results. They were refining it before they brought it into the UK and also to the United States. When they had almost 50,000 data points on every single American, enough to know just about everything about you, they decided to spring it loose to the highest bidder. What does that lead to? And what's the impact of that? Well, when Facebook knows a lot about you, Cambridge Analytica knows a lot about you, they know that they can split you off into a silo. If I drive down the street and I see a billboard, I feel one way about it. Another person may feel another way about it. If it's a lawyer billboard, I probably want to punch it in the face. being a lawyer myself. But these aren't billboards. These are little personal signs that can be individually consumed, which means if you look for the fear signals that somebody normally reacts to, if you put a bunch of different types of advertisements in front of them until you finally get them to react, you will know exactly how they react to a certain stimulus. I talk about this in my book, Truth and Persuasion, but there's two types of thinking, system 1 and system 2 thinking. And the first type of thinking is the sort of quick reaction sort of thinking that we don't even really think about. The second type of thinking is the type of thinking that is very intentional and logical. We sit down and we chart things out. You probably don't remember your drive to work very well because you were maybe engaged in system 2 thinking. When we react to these fear signals on the internet, the Cambridge Analytica signals that get put in front of us, they appeal to our system 1 thinking, which means we aren't as conscious of what we are doing and the choices we're making. I've often said when I'm looking at a jury of 12 as a lawyer standing up in front of them arguing a case, for the first time in history, these 12 people may have absolutely nothing in common with each other. They may be operating from very different algorithms. They may be basically speaking the same language. One person may be getting a whole bunch of Russian misinformation. Another person may very well be getting a lot of liberal misinformation. And another person may be getting some fear signals that are just completely out of left field. It's one of the reasons why at Thanksgiving, when you ask your uncle to pass the gravy, he might respond with something like, if you believe that the Charlie Kirk shooter did it, no. And he throws it in your face. That's because these algorithms are crazy and they're designed to silo individuals and get them to react to their own different fear signals to get them entrenched into a belief. This is one of the reasons why on my program I spend so much time being fair and balanced and showing you all of the information. I want my viewers who appeal to system 2 thinking. I want you to logically sit down and be critical and analyze this. I love it when people question me in the comments or even offer a correction if I get something wrong. This is a community that builds the right way, not based on fear signals. You won't see that from me. So if you want more of that, feel free to click subscribe. So Cambridge Analytica has a database that knows how to operate on fear signals. It knows how to get people's attention, and it starts using advertisements to start swaying the way people think, the way people vote, the way people interact with each other. Now, this information finally became available to us because of a whistleblower, but if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't know that Cambridge Analytica was silently influencing most people in America in a way that prevents us from having control of our elections in the future. You might question that, but the reality is, a lot of us are powerless with strong appeals to system 1 thinking. That's not from me, that's from a researcher, Daniel Kahneman, who's been very prominent in the field, cited widely, developed these types of thinking, and he developed them directly from test cases in World War II. All right, so we've covered Cambridge Analytica, we've covered Facebook. Now it's important that we wrap all of this together by discussing Epstein's worldview and the worldview of many of his supporters, including potentially Peter Thiel himself. I think that we can sum this up.
Now we only talking the paper trail. These are the cats. These are the felines. These are the hawks. These are the snakes. Yo, if we ain't moving like they moving, we not moving. We ain't the wind. We ain't the motherfucking airplane. We ain't the automobile. We definitely ain't on the money. No pun intended. So if we ain't thinking like they thinking, we lacking. We need to be backpacking, hiking boots, on their ass. We at your door, Mr. Postman. Bang, bang.
the best way by discussing a breakfast gathering at Jeffrey Epstein's 50,000 square foot mansion. He was surrounded by former heads of state, executives from Google. He was in the presence of a former Israeli prime minister. When he was asked about Novak, about the Harvard research, he said something that was very curious. He informed this group of distinguished guests that Novak was doing research into cancer, but the way he explained it was very curious. He said, when you want to find a suspected bad actor on the global stage, one of the things that you might want to do is collect all the information about them, the signals, the connections that they have with other people. He said that's the way that you would want to treat a cancer cell. And then one of the things that you want to do is you want to starve out that cell by destroying the connection. You see, in conversations with many high-ups, Jeffrey Epstein had repeatedly referred to this sort of eugenics in very odd ways. In many conversations, even with Novak himself, he referred to our species similar to the way that he would refer to biological organisms. And he would say things like, dead organisms need to be washed away. Those that aren't useful to the body or useful to the system or are cancerous need to be wiped away. When he would talk about cancer, he was routinely not actually talking about cancer, but he was talking about those things that are harmful and no longer serve a purpose. Now, there's a lot of other things that you could say about Epstein. Certainly, he wasn't a very good guy. But one of the things that you should be very suspicious of is that he was the founder and, in fact, the influencer who originally started deep research into artificial intelligence. And this sort of mindset that he shared along with Novak, along with Peter Thiel, the idea that democracy is dead, that humans are
Yo, J.E. We ain't talking jacket ass. This nigga's not from Atlanta. Huh. Yo, J.E. I'm at your motherfucking door. Nigga, loan a nigga. No, nigga. Give me, nigga. I'm telling everybody. Give me. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nick, I'm gonna need that too. Yeah. On the front end, give me $100 million today, nigga. I'm telling everybody you the leader of this game. Nigga. I'm telling every nigga, and also give us back what's ours, nigga. You can take the whole world over there. Afro Eurasia is yours, nigga. I'm telling everybody if you don't rewrite these motherfucking history books to say the right shit that happened to nigga, I'm telling everybody with your SpongeBob head ass nigga. Look, nigga, I'm on your ass, Mr. Postman. Foot on your neck, Mr. Postman. Jesus. Jesus. Double and triple and tundra ass, nigga. Bang. Let go.
up the best way by discussing a breakfast gathering at Jeffrey Epstein's 50,000 square foot mansion. He was surrounded by former heads of state, executives from Google. He was in the presence of a former Israeli prime minister. When he was asked about Novak, about the Harvard research, he said something that was very curious. He informed this group of distinguished guests that Novak was doing research into cancer, but the way he explained it was very curious. He said, when you want to find a suspected bad actor on the global stage, one of the things that you might want to do is collect all the information about them, the signals, the connections that they have with other people. He said that's the way that you would want to treat a cancer cell. And then one of the things that you want to do is you want to starve out that cell by destroying the connection. You see, in many conversations, even with Novak himself, he referred to our species similar to the way that he would refer to biological organisms. And he would say things like, dead organisms need to be washed away. Those need to be wiped away. When he would talk about cancer, he was routinely not actually talking about cancer, but he was talking about those things that are harmful and no longer serve a purpose. A good guy. But one of the things that you should be very suspicious of is that he was the founder and, in fact, the influencer who originally started deep research into artificial intelligence. And this sort of mindset that he shared along with Novak, along with Peter Thiel, the idea that democracy is dead, that humans are heading in the wrong direction, that there's going to be this rise of artificial intelligence technology that will likely take over, starts to get him and other people somewhat concerned that the human race is not up for the challenge. And that's where dangerous thinking starts to come into play about tuning the human race in to something that might be sustainable, even if that isn't all of us. These are the same ideas that were shared by Nazis. These were some of the ideas that Adolf Hitler equated to Nietzsche's thinking that was essentially incorrect. It appeared that Jeffrey Epstein was really obsessed with the survival of the species. In fact, in an email between him and Ghislaine Maxwell, talking about another individual who I won't name, she said, wait, she's key. She has all of the DNA research. Jeffrey Epstein was obsessed with freezing his sperm, and one of the things that he wanted to do was be able to recreate himself later. He was also obsessed with the way that organisms interact with each other through Novak's research, and he was obsessed with the way that society interacts. He was working on some very deep projects along with very intelligent
Told you, this nigga's Jesus. Jesus. Triple line, double line, triple line, tundra ass nigga. This nigga's everywhere and nowhere. What the fuck? No, this nigga is not in jail hanging himself. This nigga's in charge of the world. He's just playing a character. He wanted to be normal for a change. Dumbass nigga is in charge of the world. Ain't no such thing as a motherfucking Trump being president. No, nigga. No, nigga. Ain't no. That's just a seat. This nigga is listening to Epstein and his circle of friends. Huh? No, these niggas are normal niggas. They're walking around. They're normal. They're amongst us like regular people. They want to be normal too, but they don't know how to be. Again, yeah. Tell the kids to go to the other room because this story about J.E. ain't even about the kids. This nigga's in charge of the world. Craig, you heard what I said? And I'm telling you, J.E., we ain't talking jagged edge. This nigga's not from Atlanta. Yo, check it. Check it one time. This nigga's the real ghost. You think Darwin just fucking locked himself up in the cell and said, "Get somebody go give me some extra orange nooses, please. I'll pay you $1 million to let me hang myself." Yeah, no, this nigga walked out, set sail, let his ship do the walking on the waters. This nigga's Jesus. 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 Paper trail. Let go.
individuals who all shared the same eugenicist mindset. Now, that's a lot for one episode. And the next episode, I'm going to get a little bit deeper into Peter Thiel. I'm going to get into Edge, the secret group that is promoting all of this research, and I'm going to dig pretty deep into the mindset of some of these powerful people and why they think the way they think and why it is so incredibly dangerous. But one thing's for sure, your use of AI, your use of artificial intelligence, putting information into the machines that we've been putting information into was not designed to help us or save us or help us do our jobs. It was designed to give pieces of your freedom over so that it could be observed, manipulated, and fed back to you in a way that allows individuals like this to control. On the next episode of Off Air, we're going to talk a little bit more about Peter Thiel, the Greenland acquisition, a secret society that he's been involved in. We're going to talk about Edge and Jeffrey Epstein and why these people in this inner circle think the way they do. My name's Ron Chapman. Thank you so much for joining me.